Janet.
Hi, Janet. Oh, we can't hear you.
Hello, Aaron, Robert.
Good to see you. And
You look better.
You've recovered
Do I
well
look better?
from the attack.
You definitely do.
Right.
Oh, man.
Once I get my glasses, I'll be great.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
And panelists will all show up on the screen. So, but you could. Okay, thanks. Some are applicants, I see. Not really. Let's see. You can be. It's captioned. That's okay.
Yeah.
That was me. I could make the room a little.
Yeah, we talked about that. So it would be sort of open.
I tried to do it on the back end, but you can only have one coast. And the account is under Maria, so I'm the co-host. But while I'm here, I can make the room the co-host. Let's try it.
That's okay.
Just see what it does.
Is John Dusick coming?
Yes, I think he was coming in person.
Flying in. Do we need
Oh,
another
so
chair?
Jeff.
We can just
I
scooch
can
over.
slide him down here.
We can go either way.
We can just scooch
Which
over.
way are you coming?
We're coming your way.
Okay.
Here's John.
And there he is, 6:59. I think we're ready, and when you are.
Okay, we're recording.
Great. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of February 15th, 2024 to order. We have one public hearing tonight, so I want to take just a few minutes to review the process for public hearings in the current hybrid format of our meetings. During the public hearing, the applicant will be invited to present the application, explaining to the commission and others present what is being requested. The applicant or staff will share all application materials on the screen as needed. Comments of town agencies will be read for each application if there are any. There will be clarifying questions from the commissioners. Then there will be an opportunity for clarifying questions from attendees. For Zoom attendees, please raise your hand through the Zoom platform and wait to be called on and unmuted. As this public hearing must be recorded, attendees will state their names and addresses before asking their questions. Next, those who wish to support the application may come forward, and then those who oppose the application may come forward. Again, it is necessary for speakers to identify themselves each time they speak by stating their name and address. The applicant will then have an opportunity to address any questions or concerns raised by the public or commissioners. And once the public hearing is closed, the applicant is free to leave or remain for the balance of the regular meeting, during which the commission will try to reach a decision on each application. Each applicant will be notified in writing as to the decision of this commission and has a right to appeal to Superior Court if desired. Decisions of this meeting are available the day after the meeting by calling the Land Use Department at 203-245-5631 after 9 a.m. All actions taken tonight by the commission will be by roll call. All commissioners and staff will identify themselves for the record before speaking. Seated this evening are members Mike Bugda, John Duza, John Morgan, Bob O'Connor, Janet Peckinpah attending by Zoom, Bob Reinhardt, Andy Rubin, and myself, Carol Snow, Chair. Staff present this evening is Aaron Mannix, Town Planner, This meeting is live streamed on YouTube and will be made available on the town website for viewing. Additionally, I would like to ask that we treat each other respectfully throughout the meeting, and the town planner will now read the legal notice. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. Notice is hereby given that the commission, the Planning and Zoning Commission, will hold a public hearing on Thursday, February 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in Meeting Room A, Town Campus, 8 Campus Drive, Madison, Connecticut. This is a hybrid meeting and attendees may also join via Zoom webinar through either the webinar link or call-in information below. The webinar ID is 915-8196-6735. Password is 452138. The following application will be heard. Number 24-03, 105, 107, and 111 Bradley Road, map 48, lots 46 and 47. Zone is D, Downtown District. The owners are George C. Field Company Incorporated, Viola Madison Realty LLC. The applicant is Vista Life Innovations, Inc. Site plan review and major downtown village district application for facade improvements and various site improvements, including parking, sidewalks, lighting, signage, fencing, and landscaping. Copy of this application is available for inspection in the land use office. Further details on how to participate in the webinar are posted on the Town of Madison website, www.madisonct.org. All written correspondence can be submitted to the Land Use Department via email, landuse@madisonct.org. Dial 203-245-5631 for assistance. Dated in Madison, Connecticut, this 23rd day of January, 2024. Carol Snow, Chair. This was published once in the source on February 1st, 2024, and once on February 8th, 2024.
Thank you, Erin.
Sure.
Could I have a motion to open the public hearing for 24-03? Magda, second? Reinhardt, any discussion? All in favor?
All in favor?
Great, okay. Would the applicant like to come forward?
Yeah.
This is-
I need to recuse myself.
Oh, right, thank you. So John Morgan is recusing himself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Helen Bosch, and I'm the CEO of Vista Life Innovations. Thank you for listening to this and considering this application tonight. What we are about to do, and just to kind of give you a little bit of history about Vista and what we do and who we are, is we are a nonprofit organization that supports adults with disabilities to be able to help them live with independence and belonging within our shoreline communities. We kind of provide services all up and down the shoreline, and we have two main campuses. We have a campus in Westbrook, and if you know where the Westbrook Congregational Church is, right downtown, behind it in Oak Clinton Road, it's kind of a white sprawling campus there that houses our dormitory and our education and training center. But we also, equally important, have a campus here in Madison. And the campus here in Madison, while it doesn't have any residences, it has 3 buildings that we use to provide training, counseling services, as well as a full operating business to employ our members. We started, just kind of a little history, as we started working with the George C. Field Group back over 20 years ago now, when we started renting the 105 Bradley Road building. From there, in 2012, we kind of expanded and moved into the 107 Bradley Road building. So both of those, we have had long-term leases on those properties. And then most recently, 2017, we also moved into 111 Bradley Road, where we are currently operating one of our businesses that I just described. We have recently negotiated new long-term leases on all 3 buildings so that we can remain residents in this town. And in that location, it's a wonderful location for our members because it's close to town. The bus stops right there, and we really want to see ourselves settle into that location. And by doing so, what we really want to do is to kind of upgrade the appearance. We want it to look, number one, consistent with all of the buildings looking like a campus. We want to be consistent with the downtown area of Madison, which is kind of that New England kind of small town look. And we want a place that feels really good to our students and our members who come there every day, most of them taking the public bus. If you've ever been on Bradley Road at about 9 o'clock in the morning, you'll see the bus stop. You see lots of people come out. And so we want the property to look the quality of service that we provide there. And so we've been working with, and I should introduce to you to the team of folks that we have back here. First of all, I think Mike Ott, who's a site reviewer, is on Zoom or on the line. Rick Viola Realty, Robin Westerkamp, who's a vice president of business ops with us at Vista, John Cunningham, who's the landscape architect, and T. Clark, George C. Field Company. We've been working with them for quite some time to kind of create this vision, this campus vision. And I think that's what you're going to hear tonight. And we're really excited about it. We think that it would be it's great for the town and for that area on Bradley Road. The sidewalks and everything kind of enhance the look. And I think that we can make it be a really nice, kind of just a really nice standout landmark in that area for living and learning for our adults with disabilities. So thank you. John.
Thank you, Ellen. Are you gonna put up the landscape plan?
You want the landscape? You want your colored rendering, John?
I think that's probably the easiest one to follow. Good evening. My name is John Cunningham, owner of TEC Landscape Design, located at 62 Wall Street in Madison, Connecticut.
Around the corner.
Yes. I've actually done the work. I've worked with the field company for the last 30 years. I've done all the work for the Violas also for the last 30 years. So we're just redoing the main, as Helen said, the main goal in all the work here is to make this feel like more of a campus. So maybe slide it up. We don't need the plant list. There you go. So you can see the, okay.
I don't have my mouse, John.
105, 107, and 111, okay? I think the landscape is probably one of the biggest elements. I'm trying to tie everything together, okay? So a couple little things. Our parking stays the same, but we are reducing the amount of asphalt on the property. So our impervious coverage has gone down. Our septic stays the same. Our drainage system stays the same. Nothing is really changing on the buildings. I'm going to give it over to T. Clark when I finish. He'll discuss window changes, some color changes, but the footprint of the buildings are staying the same. We're putting in a new walkway system that's going to lead over to also new pavement. The entire project's going to be repaved, okay? So if you can picture this, that the project's going to be new asphalt, dark in color. The walkways are going to be light in color. So the members know exactly to stay on the walkways. They're going to get to a crosswalk that's going to be the same striping as what's on the streets in Madison. So they can move from building to building, knowing how to go through the whole thing. On the graphics on my plan, these green circles, existing tree, existing tree, existing tree, existing tree, new street trees. We've taken down the crabs that are in front of 111 Bradley Road. I've used a variety called Okum cherry. So it's an upright cherry. It's a little bit tighter than Kwanzaa, a little bit smaller grower. I think it'd be a nice addition along Bradley Road. We've left the locust out back. We've left the existing hedge maple. I've used hedge maple on Bradley and Wall, Clarity, on a number of the buildings on Wall Street and Bradley Road. So I'm suggesting a new one here to tie back in the same foliage. This little slashed green bed is a planting bed. Picture this, that most of the plant material is probably going to be 24 to 30 inches high. Nothing much taller than that. There are some pieces of spirea that might be a little bit taller along the front road, but we want visibility is imperative that the members, when they're moving around, especially to a new bus, shelter here. This is going to be a main area where the members get to take the bus. We want them to be able to see any cars moving throughout the property, which I think is really important also. We're also suggesting a wood post metal rail fence, which is two purposes: soften some of the cars from the road along with the planting beds, also keep someone from wandering from the parking areas back out towards the sidewalk. It starts here and ends down here. We have an existing sign here at 105. We're matching the same signage. I think Aaron can put that up if there are any questions on it. I think we have all the samples on the town record, correct? Yeah.
In the ACA packet.
Yeah. We have a second sign that's going to be exactly like the first sign back on 111 also. Our trash is moving from here to here. It'll be enclosed, okay? The area where the trash was is now going to be an outdoor area. There are going to be picnic tables back here and also some raised planters. The members want to do some gardening, so we figured this was the best area for it. Even though we use all the parking here, the rear of 105 is usually just used for outdoor activities. There's not really much parking going on back there. So here in the front, but not really out and back, so we thought that was a good area for it. Existing fencing on the back of the property stays as is. There are these green areas here is asphalt right now. These are the areas that I just spoke would be removed and returned to a green element for the site. One last little thing I think, which is a nice idea, is all the entranceways are going to have the same plant material. That's the red. It's a dwarf form of Fophagelia. So it's it's about this tall. It's got a fragrant white flower. It's deciduous. It stays compact. And that will be the entrance to all the different buildings and all the different exits. So it's really just going to be a redo of the entire landscape parking walkway area. Oh, I should say the walkway is going to be a poured product. It's probably going to be concrete. We might move to stamped concrete, a little bit more money. We're still deciding that. It's probably not going to be a unit paver, but as I mentioned, all the walkways will match throughout the whole project. Any questions? Yeah.
You referenced a new shelter on the corner right there. Can you describe what that's going to look like? And is it going to be clear? I'm just concerned, is it going to be someplace where, not the members, but town kids hang out or other people hang out?
It's a state bus shelter. So the state decides what it is. It's clear glass the whole way with a metal roof. It's not real large. It happens to fit right here. We're probably going to pick the town sidewalk up. The property line is right where my scale is. It runs right along the sidewalk. So we're probably going to pick the poured concrete, which is along the sidewalk, and probably run it underneath the bus shelter.
That's right. I was figuring. Thank you.
Yes,
Ingress and egress for emergency vehicles remains the same.
remains the same. That's probably a good question. This entrance will have both ways. You can leave and pull in. You can pull into the property and leave. The same with this here. This is just leaving the property because this is one-way traffic along 111. Hasn't changed, okay? But none of the curb cuts or anything else have really changed. Anything else?
Is this a good time to show us the fence?
If we have it in the ACA packet. Wouldn't it be from the,
The fence, then I have the ACA packet,
I think it's in the,
the overview.
yes, it is in the ACA packet. It's probably going to be a white post,
And it has metal rails?
2 metal rails.
Yeah.
So it's like a finished split rail fence, but instead of the wood rail, it's going to be probably a 2.5-inch round piece of probably galvanized metal.
Yeah,
I can
Yeah.
show this.
next to the others.
Great. Into a composite close.
Probably, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not I mean, it's not going to look exactly like that, but this kind of shows you this will be some type of composite and it'll be 2 metal rails. The plant material, if we lift this up for a second, Aaron, the ground cover would probably be to about here. The additional material that's out in front, I think there needs to be something more than just the ground cover. The additional material would probably be to here, but probably nothing above the top of the fence. So it softens the cars, it breaks the front grille of the cars a little bit, but it doesn't hide the cars. I think the last thing we want to do is have a piece of plant material this tall.
Mhm.
I think this is about the right size back out in front.
And will the planting kind of discourage people from sitting on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a low juniper. You ever sat on a low juniper? All right. So it,
Sound pleasant.
yeah, no, it's not pleasant when you fall into them, but the ground cover is going to be a low juniper out front. And the reason I've used it at a number of places here in town, it's drought tolerant, it's poor soil tolerant. Once it establishes, you cannot kill it. And you're not going to want to walk through it. So we don't want people walking in the beds, which is one reason why all the plant material, if you look at the landscape plan, why all those beds are full of area. Good?
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And maybe the building materials for T?
Good evening. T. Clark from the George C. Field Company. If possible, the overview of
For
building.
coffee, sure. I'm gonna.
Yeah, if you could bring it right up. Perfect. Perfect.
Go back up to the top.
This, I'll review the exterior, proposed exterior building improvements with you. Yeah, next page is John's landscape plan. And then this is 105 Bradley Road and a nice rendering of what we're proposing to the exterior of the building. You can see a new asphalt shingle roof, cobblestone gray in color to be installed. New vinyl siding, flagstone color, and colonial white trim. The exterior 105. Next 107, same matching cobblestone gray asphalt shingle roof. We're going to paint the existing clapboard, wood clapboard siding, sterling gray. And we'll install a new board and batten skirt underneath those lower level windows around the perimeter of the whole building. And matching colonial white trim. And on Mr. Viola's building, proposing to fresh coat of paint, right?
Yes,
On the existing siding, flagstone color, matching colonial white paint.
I think just to recall from ACA, this is the same gray as 105. So the center building is
That's the
just
intent.
set back and a little bit lighter.
Right, so the two outer buildings have very matching colors and the middle building would be complementary to the other. Very good.
Questions?
Questions?
Thanks.
Sure. You're welcome.
Okay.
We can show the lighting.
Oh, yes.
Ellen was right on it. Sorry about that. The lighting, I have the photometrics plan. If we go back to,
Well, here's the detail.
want to go to, do you want to go to the photometrics plan?
Yeah, but what it looks like.
Okay, so this is the light we've selected. It's going to be on a 12-foot post. Okay, it's a full cutoff. Okay, it's an LED. It's below 3000 K. Okay, and if we go to the photometrics plan, I won't go through all the different areas. There are probably 10 different posts. We're also using that same fixture as a bollard. So everyone knows when you came in these front doors, that's a light bollard outside. It's going to be about this high. Same fixture up top, same full cutoff, but probably 54 inches tall. They are going to be by the sidewalks. There's about 4 of those, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So 54, 48. I can't remember what it was. It's one of the other. It's not 36, not 24. It's probably about this tall. If you looked at all this, zero wash off the property line, what you want to have, okay? And the fixtures themselves are probably the X's where they are.
How many lumens per fixture?
Under 3000 K, but I don't know.
No, that's temperature, lumens, intensity, brightness.
It's on the spec sheet in the town. Yep. I'm on the design review committee here in town. We've gone through a lot of lighting. We usually like the illumination to be around 3000 K. I'm not a lighting expert. I don't know what the
I
exact
just
thing is.
color temperature, which is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a warm.
It's a
color.
warm color.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Mhm. I can find out and let Erin know if you, and she can send it to the board.
Janet, you have a question? You need to unmute.
Yes, sorry. John, are these buildings right across from the Bradley, the apartments?
Yes,
Will these lights stay on 24/7?
no, we talked about that in ACA. We're probably gonna have, you could have people working in the buildings till maybe 8 o'clock. So we discussed either a 9 or 10 o'clock shut off time for all lights, because there's no sense in having them on when no one's there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else on the lights?
We're good.
Okay, I'll check my record and see if I have the.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it for your presentation?
Yes.
Have any questions from attendees? See any hands raised?
Can I do this? I don't see any hands raised. Either location.
Right, I would have to check for women. In person. Any questions from the audience? Good.
I did share with the commission in my staff report, which is online as well, and in the record, the guidelines for the DVD. That's the reason this is before you as a public hearing. It's considered a major alteration. Not to read everything. As John indicated, after review the application and give a favorable recommendation as proposed.
Very good, thank you.
I like that. Or we can put it in the record.
Up there.
Right, but they're sort of gaslight in appearance, right? So the light will spread out and all,
And they're downward facing, right?
or is it downward?
Yes, correct.
It's
Yeah.
shielded.
How does a full cutoff fixture, no illumination above 180 degrees, so light is all down.
Down.
These lights was done by Apex Lighting, they're all.
That's what I need to know. Thank you.
Okay, great, thanks.
The 3,000 temperature was also recommended by,
Yeah, that's standard for the state.
ACA,
yes, by ACA.
Good.
That they was.
warm and low. And off after 10. Perfect. Any other questions or thoughts? If not, could I have a motion? We could close the public hearing and move to deliberations. Herbert,
I'll second that.
second, any discussion about it? Favor? Move to deliberation. I think it looks great. I think, it works in terms of the downtown village district. Yeah, I think it's really a nice improvement. And the functionality, I think, will be improved as well, so that's great. Yeah. Any other comments?
You guys have done serious work on this.
Yeah.
Thanks for the investment.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, if there are no further discussions, then maybe we can just go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Want to read, John Duza, do you want to read the following draft resolution?
Sure.
Do you have it?
That's out of here.
It's part of our packet.
Look at the memo. Okay, the Madison Planning and Zoning Commission approves application 24-03, 105, 107, 111 Bradley Road, map 48, lots 46 and 47, zone D downtown. Owner George C. Field Company Incorporated, Viola Madison Realty LLC. Applicant Vista Life Innovations Incorporated. Site plan review of major downtown village district application for facade improvements and other site improvements, including parking, sidewalks, lighting, signage, fencing, and landscaping as shown on a set of plans. Vista Madison's campus improvements, Bradley Road and Old 79 Madison, Connecticut. Civil permit drawings by Summer Hills Civil Engineers and Land Surveyors, Special Corporation, dated January 2024, sheets C0.1-C3.3. Sidewalk details, 14 sheets total. Vista Life Innovations, Landscape Plan LP-1 by TEC Landscape. Design Incorporated, dated January 5th, 2024. And lighting plan by Apex Lighting Solutions with the following conditions. One, that the zoning enforcement officer be notified at least 48 hours prior to commencement of any regulated activity. Two, that all erosion sedimentation controls be installed prior to any site disturbance and maintained for the duration of construction activities and until the site is sufficiently stabilized to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer. In the event that changes to the approved plans are required as a result of other agency permitting to support the proposed activity, the Madison County and Zoning Commission reserves the right to review said changes and may require modification of this approval. This approval is made based upon the finding that the standards, prerequisites, and conditions specified by the regulations have been met. Public convenience and welfare will be substantially served. The appropriate use of neighboring properties will not be substantially or permanently injured. The proposed use is in accordance with the comprehensive plan and the downtown village district regulations. Effective date of this approval is February 29th, 2024.
John? Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, approved. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we have two pending applications tonight. The next agenda item now is 24-01. Cherry Lane, map 26, lots 37-1, 44 and 45. This is an R2 zone. The owner is the Madison Country Club. Applicant is Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates, site plan review modification and coastal site plan review to construct a 10 by 20 foot accessory restroom building, associated utilities, septic system, and site.
Todd Anderson from Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates is just coming
Okay.
over now. He's
Great.
joining via Zoom. And Todd.
There we go.
Hi, Todd.
Good evening, everyone. Todd Anderson from Anderson Engineering Surveying Associates, 1054 Boston Post Road in Guilford, here on behalf of the Madison Country Club. Also on the Zoom call is Ken Papa. If there are any, he's an attorney for the club. So if there are any issues that needs his input, he is available as well. But I think we can handle it without him. So the club is desiring to put in a restroom facility about on the halfway point of a full round of golf on their course. Currently they use portable toilets, not in this area, but in the close proximity thereof. But they have been getting input from members for a while now that they would like to have a permanent facility. Currently, there is a water station within about 20 feet of the proposed restroom facility. So this restroom facility would have two toilet facilities, a men's and women's room, and in the middle, an ice cooler and water station that would not need daily replenishment during the summer months. It would have water being supplied from the water company on Cherry Lane with electric coming from Cherry Lane as well. Of course, both underground, and also have a septic system to the south of the building. We have chosen this spot for this facility because there is an existing mound of fill adjacent to the cart paths. This building is in between two tees and fairways and greens. So it is the least impact for the playing of golf on the property, and also dug into the hillside, so it is shielded from most of the neighbors and from the view of Cherry Lane. It really is the best place for this facility to be. And it's right near an existing paved cart path. We propose a little parking area there to the north of the building for the members to park their golf carts in while they are using the facilities, and facilitating the passing by of other golf carts while they are parked there. So we are before you for a site plan modification to add this building in on the property. And also because we are within the coastal area management zone, we are before you for a coastal area management permit as well. We are about 900 feet by my estimation away from any coastal resource with this building, but still fall within that CAM zone. So we are about 64 feet away from a flagged wetland. That wetland is a mowed lawn being used as a fairway for the golf course. And the next closest wetland is about 310 feet to the east southeast of the proposed building, and that is more of a viable wetland. So we've already gone before the Wetlands Commission and received their blessing to put this building in this location. We have approval from the health department for the proposed septic system. Very minimal grading is involved in facilitating the installation of this building, being that it's being cut into that existing filled mound, which was a filled feature for the golf course many years ago. And again, it shields it from most of the neighbors. It just works out in the area that it is. It's a very small 10 by 24 building. And again, seasonal use, only going to be open during the summertime months, winterized for the winter, and not used during the winter months. So very low impact. So I think that's my presentation. I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Todd. I have a few questions, actually. Do you have an elevation or a drawing of the building, or at least can you tell us what the height will be?
There was a preliminary architectural sketch that I think I submitted to the town. Whether Aaron has it in the file or not, I don't know. But basically it's about the size of a medium-sized shed. It's a 10 by 24 building, one floor. It's going to be, an 8-foot ceiling with a roof. So it's probably 16, 17 feet tall, I would imagine, maybe 18 tops.
And will it have outdoor lighting?
I do not believe they are proposing lighting on it, because during the day, the golfers play golf. At night, they don't play golf. Once the sun goes down, they're done. So why have lighting? There will probably be interior lighting for a cloudy day. You want to be able to see so you can wash your hands and such not. But to have exterior lighting, that is pretty much a moot point, because it will not be used during the nighttime.
Good. And then actually, Aaron, I have a question, I think, for you. I just want to confirm that they didn't need, for this application, there was no need to notify abutters, was there?
There's not for a site plan.
That's what I thought, yeah, when I checked the
It's
regulations.
not a public hearing.
Yeah, Okay, just want to confirm that.
The question, then, have the neighbors been polled for their thoughts on having the bathroom put there?
I guess that's a question for the
70
club.
Yeah, it's 70 feet from the nearest neighbor, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
close.
pretty close. Anyone talk to the neighbors?
I've talked to one of
I-
the neighbors.
I'm sorry, what was that question? You kind of broke up.
Talk to any of the neighbors
The neighbors who
about
are
the project.
impacted right there. I think there are a couple of houses in particular that back right onto that.
I personally did not talk to any of the neighbors. I don't know whether the club has or not. I don't have that information for you. Ken, who's on the call right now, maybe he has an answer to that. If he has spoken with anybody or not, I don't know. I see he's raising his hand right now.
I did raise my hand, but unfortunately, no, I do not have any other information on that. I don't know of any contact made by the club to any of the neighbors.
But the question I would have is, it will be visible to some of the neighbors then, is that correct?
It will be, but the houses of the neighbors are quite a number of hundreds of feet away. Yes, it is close proximity to the property line, but there is substantial vegetation between the club's property line and the neighbors' houses. So again, we place this in pretty much the most minimal impact area for all of the neighbors, based on existing landscaping and vegetation and trees. We don't feel that this is going to be an extreme impact on any of the neighbors at all.
Another question. I'm not familiar with the layout of the golf course, but when I tried to find some information, it appears that's being placed at the backside of the third green before the fourth tee. So is that where it is? You said it was going like halfway. Typically, it's at the turnaround shape. Where you start back nine. This would appear to be 3 holes into the course, which I'm not sure why you put a bathroom 3 holes into your game.
You can.
So I'm just curious.
I'm not sure of the current numbering of the tees, but I imagine they're still the same as a plan that we did in 2013. We had tees 4 and 6 to the west of this proposed restroom, and the green number 5 just to the east of this. So I think we are right in between the tee of hole number 4 and the green of number 5.
Okay, thank you.
Isn't there something on the south end of that section of the golf course to the east of Cherry Lane? I seem to recall seeing something down where the Phragmites are. Was that just a porta potty?
I think that's where the portable restrooms were.
And are those being removed or are those staying
Yes, no, they are.
removed?
Yes.
I can show the GIS map if that helps to kind of
Yeah.
orient
Yeah, that would be helpful. Thanks.
you to where it is.
Just a follow-up question. You said there's significant vegetation between the proposed building, and I'm not sure which neighbor that is, but it's the first neighbor across from it. That's, I think it's 72 feet away to the property line before the corner. Is the vegetation the clubs?
No, it's the private property.
It's a private property vegetation?
Todd, can I ask, is Jeffrey Squitiero part of the club as well? He has his hand raised.
He is part of
He's
the club as well. Yes.
Maybe you can answer that question. I'll just move him over.
I didn't realize he was on as well, but yes, he is.
Okay, all right, so here's sort of a panned out. This is the post road is at the top of the screen. Cherry Lane runs down here. The location is here of where this building is going to be, right? It tucks right in here.
So it's off, it's to the right as you're heading down the Surf Club Road? No, oh.
It's on the other side
it's
of
on the
Cherry
other side of
Lane.
Cherry Lane.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's that.
Yeah, that's West Wharf here. That's the main
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
and
And
the
it's at the very
clubhouse.
north end of it.
This is behind.
Oh, it's right to the backyards of the people on the post road.
Exactly.
Right, okay, that's right. Oh, that's
Mhm.
not.
It's in the back.
It's right there.
Yeah.
But there is screening. I can't see the numbers from here, but I know it's Jane's house and then.
They didn't need to get a approval for the porta potties, I assume.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Because it's not permanent.
It's private property.
Yeah.
So this would presumably be an improvement over the porta potties, although I do not know if they are decorated appropriately.
I think it's an improvement to just using the fence too. But I have one more question actually, which has to do with how you filled out your application form. There is a stone wall and a beautiful bridge going across that little stream that feeds into the pond with huge granite slabs, which I think might be from the historic quarry across the post road. This doesn't impact those at all, though, obviously, does it?
No, the stone wall you are referring to is to the northwest of the
Right.
building, and that is about 105 feet away. And we are about 175 feet away from that granite bridge that you were speaking about.
Okay, good.
And none of not even the utility trenching is anywhere near that. The stone wall is basically to the north side of the wetlands, which we are further away from. And that bridge is to the north side of the pond, which we are about 80 feet to the south of that pond with our utility trenching.
Do you happen to know how old that bridge is?
I have no idea.
It looks old. It is.
Older than me, I'll tell you that much.
The granite is huge, huge slabs. Okay, any other questions? John?
So there's a similar facility around the 11th tee, right? How would this proposed structure compare to that in terms of size and style?
I am not aware of the facility at the 11th tee. I do not know the size or look of it. I don't know anything about that one.
Okay.
I could probably answer that. Jeffrey Squitiero, I live at 477 Boston Post Road, and I'm the president of the Madison Country Club right now. I can answer a couple of the questions that came up. Backwards to forwards, this will be about the same size as the present restroom that's behind the 10th green and next to the 11th tee. That is also a small storage building that has one men's room and one ladies' room in it, with some storage in the front. The question was asked about whether we spoke to the neighbors. We have had several meetings with the Cherry Lane Association and discussed the situation with them. As was described by Todd, our understanding is a lot of the building is going to be hidden by the mound that's already there, but we've also assured them that we will plant some native grasses on top of the mound so that you really won't even notice the building. And we said we'd work with the neighbors in any way that if they want us to camouflage it more than that, we'd be happy to do that. And then lastly, someone asked about the portables. There were 2 portable toilets behind the 4th green, which when you saw the pictures and the drawings is on the other side of the pond. So behind the 4th green, there was a small raised structure built out of wood that had a platform and then basically stockade fence to sort of block the view of these portable toilets. Those were only there from basically April until maybe October each year and then removed. So they're not there now, and we will not hire them again as soon as this building opens. Those will be gone, and we'll take the structure down.
Thank you.
Kind of question.
Yeah,
So,
John.
You talked with the Cherry Lane Association folks, does that include the folks who live on the Boston Post Road? I would assume it doesn't.
No.
I can't tell you that because I'm not sure, but I know we had a meeting with a good number of people who actually walked the property with us, and we showed them our plans. But I'm not sure who exactly was there and where they live.
Seems to be the folks who live on
The post road, yeah, because their backyard looks right out onto it. Whereas Cherry Lane, it
Where the
might
mound
be,
is
yeah,
adjacent
it'd be
from
kind of
Cherry
hidden by the
Lane.
mound at first, but it faces the backyard of the especially two houses right there. Which, yeah, they do have some screening on their own property. But it
I
would
guess
impact
my
them.
question would be, do those Boston Post Road neighbors have a chance to comment on this at all? Will they at this point?
Not in a
It's-
site plan application that doesn't have a public hearing,
It's not a
no.
public hearing, yeah.
And then once we approve the site plan, they can build whatever they proposed.
That's proposed.
Well, yeah, that was my concern too, 'cause there seems to be some ambiguity around, the actual height of the building. If you're gonna put storage in there, assuming it's not going underground, then, it's gotta be determined this thing can't be, 25 feet up, up with storage. And so, then that's gonna stick out.
The height is estimated at 16 to 17, but you're not like digging it into the mound at all. It's at the level of the paved cart path, I guess. Is that right? So we'll
The
stick up
finished
above.
grade.
Yeah.
Right, this
The
is-
the floor of the bathroom is being dug into the existing mound by about 3 or 4 feet on a portion of that structure. So it is being placed kind of tucked into that mound, but not entirely within that mound. So it's not going to look like a subterranean structure, but it will be shielded partially by that mound.
Jeffrey, do you have any renderings or information? I know there were some preliminary concepts for the building, but have you finalized the design of the building?
I'm not aware of anything other than what would have already been submitted. I believe a drawing, Ken, was it done by John? Have you seen that? I think John Matthews designed the building, and I thought that was, his sketch was submitted.
There were no architectural drawings submitted with the application.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Aaron. I thought I had given you John's preliminary sketches with a notation on it that those were not the final design, but that was pretty much the concept sketch. So I apologize if I'm mistaken.
Do you have them?
I do have them, but unfortunately, I don't have the means of sharing them right now.
Well, if the
I
commission
can-
wants
I
to
can-
see them, you can.
I can email it to you if you'd like.
I've got some other. For me personally, we're in the discussion part, right? There's no public. So for me personally, I think there were 3 things there, a couple questions came up, we didn't have answers to yet, which it's understandable. I don't think this is not trying to say no to this application, but first one is seeing what the elevation plan would be for this facility, so we can see what people may or may not be looking at. So if you're on Post Road, it's going through your backyard, what are they looking at? So can I do that to get the height as far as there's storage unit stuff?
The height
just what
relative
we're
to the
asking.
mound, and yeah.
So getting an elevation, the second one was a question on the outdoor lighting. It's obvious that there should be outdoor lighting, but that's not the answer. There was no answer. So I'd like a definitive, there is or is not outdoor lighting, which we don't have to worry about.
Yep.
He said he thinks there shouldn't be because it's a golf course.
Oh, I see.
He didn't say there is no outdoor lighting.
Okay.
I just took a look at John's plan, which I will email to Aaron right now. There is no outdoor lighting proposed.
And then the other one would be the, so as far as I understand it, the Cherry Lane?
Cherry Lane, yeah.
Cherry Lane, thank you, Cherry Lane. Drive by it every day. Cherry Lane Association would appear to be fine with this. They have an understanding with the club. It's pretty much the mound is blocking the majority of the building from the Cherry Lane residents. But it is facing pretty much directly to the two residents, I think, on West Wharf
Post Road.
and Post Road.
Right.
And so what I'd like to see is within that elevation or within, they don't have, those property owners just can't say, no, you can't build it. I'm not looking for permission from them.
Right.
I just want a shielding of light, noise, odors, particles, and other disturbances, and something else about enjoyment of the neighbors is part of the regs. I think an understanding of what possible screening could be put in place to assure that the neighbors don't have a direct line of sight. I mean, it can be early in the morning, when you're stopping, opening the door closes, that's fine. I don't think it's the responsibility of the neighbors to keep the plants up to block the line of sight. I think it's the responsibility of the club to put plants up to block the line of sight. So I'd like to see, my request would be to see that. If you all disagree, that's fine. But I want to say yes to this. I just want to button up a few things.
So are you asking for screening or for the
First, we're
club to
asking to see what
speak to the?
The elevation and what it looks like.
Yeah, what does it look like?
Elevation.
Yes, yes,
I'd like
but as
to-
far as the neighbors on Boston
I'd
Post
like to
Road.
ensure in some way that the neighbors who are not part of the Cherry Lane Association, I don't want to say they have the ability to say no to kill this project. I would like their enjoyment of their property being taken into consideration to assure that proper screening is put in place, that they don't have to maintain. If they want to clear cut their property, they shouldn't have to look at this facility. We don't even know what the facility looks like. It could be beautiful right now.
But it does face right.
It does. It's
Their backyard.
The first thing I noticed is 72 feet from the property line, another 30, 40 feet from the setback. It's not that close, but it's still there.
Yeah.
You look at the back of the back. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that I think it's fair.
With a parking lot for cars.
Okay, I can share with
I mean,
you.
it's a golf course, they're gonna see stuff like this.
So-
I
If-
received.
if I may, I emailed Aaron John Matthews' sketch. And I also just took a look at Google Earth, and the closest house would be Jane Raport's house at let me get back here at 524 Boston Post Road, and I'm estimating a little over 300 feet from the back of her house to this restroom facility. And there is also a slight hillside and a large vegetated backyard with mature trees between her house and this building. The next closest house that does not have the benefit of trees would be Lance Forrest's garage, which his garage is between his house and his garage, but the garage is at 320 feet. And the back of his house, which is shielded by his garage to this structure, is at about 400 feet.
This is giving you a rough section.
Yep, you're right. It looks like a shed.
Yeah.
It's not a tall structure.
Yeah, is there?
Here's
Not
the
at all.
slab. And this,
Looks like 13.
this area here in the back, Todd, is that the rear grade, the hill, the slope?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, where are you looking at?
All
On
the
the
way
right
to the
side.
right side here. Can you see my cursor moving or is that not?
No, I don't see your cursor moving.
All the way to the right above A4? And that footing, that's the adjacent grade
Looks like it.
on that side?
I don't see your cursor, but you know, basically the backside of the backside, the Cherry Lane side will have about a 4-foot wall.
Yeah, that's what it looks
That's
like.
that's what that is.
Yeah, yeah. And I see that he has on the sketch now, I'm seeing it, it's about 13 feet tall. He
That
has
is-
red 13 feet plus or minus. Yep.
That's much better.
Aaron, is this not part of the record?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
sure.
I mean, it would have been great if you guys had talked to the Boston Post Road neighbors, I think, as well. We would feel a little more comfortable, but
Aaron, can you pull up that, not the site plan, but the overview with the location?
aerial?
GIS?
GIS?
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So it nestles into a hill that
Yeah, okay.
is on the south and it faces north.
You know, I looked at the plans before. We got it. It's not some of the numbers. No, I'm sorry, not that one. The drawing.
Okay.
Where it has
The
specific
survey?
location. Yeah, the survey, that's it. Show me the contact. You see where it says stockpile, the left of stockpile, there's a line of 72 feet to that property line, the residence, and it's
72 feet to
correct.
that.
How long is the property line to the?
To which
Is there any
one?
more drawing there?
No, that's it.
Which way are you looking?
Up. I thought there was an outline in the column. No.
No,
No, that's just the
And the
rear
house
property
is-
line there.
the house is quite a bit further up.
All right.
Yeah, that's just the property line, not the house location.
So I
Yeah.
could show you that lot on the,
Yeah. You might.
GIS.
Yeah.
this property line.
Okay, the house. would be-
And the house is up
Okay,
here.
got it. All right.
Feet.
All right. got it.
Recess.
Well, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good homework.
And there's fully.
Yeah, all right. That's much further than I thought.
Yes.
It's pretty far. And there is a lot of plant
Yeah.
screening.
I see that.
I mean, they put in, Jane put in a nice garden back there.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I didn't see that. Just happened to know.
If I can, I just want to point out, as Jeff said, that with regard to the neighbors that the club did meet with and walk the property with, there was an assurance made to them that the club would do what was necessary to screen their view. The same thing would apply to those one or two property owners on the Post Road, I would assume, right? I mean, it's not going to be visible if nobody wants it visible, or at least not fully visible. So I think that can certainly be arranged.
Yeah, and I mean, I just would add, it's Jeff Squatiro again, I would add that the members don't want this thing to stick out like a sore thumb either. So we want it to sort of blend in with the veterans. And if that means we have to do a little more planning to keep the people on the Post Road happy, we'd be happy to do that as well.
Good. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, that oversight. GIS helps. Good. No more questions.
Okay, well, thank you. It's helpful to have the height at about 13 feet, that it's
Yeah.
kind of tucked into the hill, and that you're open to making adjustments if landscaping needs to be done later. That's great.
So, Carol, a question, that's a draft drawing.
It's not the
Can we,
official, yeah.
How close does the actual building have to be to that draft drawing? It doesn't have to be anywhere near that, I would assume. It's a draft. What,
On a building this small, on a building this small, we're not looking at going from his 13 feet proposed height to, if anything, it might be 14 feet tall, but maybe only 12 feet tall. But it's a small building. Again, it's like a medium-sized shed. It's not going to be a overly obtrusive structure. We are limited on your approval of a 10 by 24 building. You know, we are not looking at, we're looking at building a restroom facility with no second floor. We don't need that second floor for storage. We just need it so rainwater and snow flows off of it. So it doesn't need to be a steep roof for storage or anything above it. So pretty much what you were looking at is what it's going to be.
Well, can we can include that plan in the approval and
Yeah.
say it should
As
be
per
in-
that sketch.
Right.
said the building should be constructed along the lines of that plan without any major deviations. Any major deviations would require them to come back to us, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah,
Right.
you're right.
Okay.
That's the concern.
It's a small building, you're not gonna get it. Yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
Yeah, I just like having it.
Some guidelines.
I think I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Then that should take care of it.
Should I make a motion?
I think it's what to say.
Yeah.
Oh, I did just want to add that the coastal site plan, there are soil and erosion control measures shown on the site, and access is detailed, the construction access. And we did receive comments back from DEP as well,
Yep.
just so that everybody has had a chance to see them.
Aaron, did you draft,
It's in the staff report.
oh, I see.
I can bring it up.
So Bob, do you want to just add a couple of
I say we
conditions?
put it down as condition number 3.
Sure.
Yeah.
Structure to be built per submitted drawings, any major deviations. Yes, usually some language that major deviations.
Need a motion to approve with that.
Yes,
Can I do that?
sure, go for it.
John.
Motion to approve with the added item around the building size and height. And similar to the drawings, draft drawings.
Yeah. Second.
Okay, and so this is using Aaron's draft resolution plus the addition of a third
Yeah.
condition
Yeah.
about the sketch. I think we're all comfortable with that, and this is for the site plan review modification, and then we can vote again on the coastal site plan.
It's all, that's all in one.
It's all in one,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see, Aaron, great. Should we read it, or can we just refer to
Can we just
it?
refer to it?
Bob's gonna go ahead, go for
All
it.
right, the Madison Planning and Zoning Commission approves application 24-01 Cherry Lane, map 26, lot 37-1, 44 and 45, zone R2, owner Madison Country Club, applicant Henderson Engineering and Surveying Associates, site plan review modification, and coastal site plan review to construct 10-foot by 20-foot accessory restroom building, associated utilities, septic system, and site improvements as shown on plan titled Inland Wetlands Regulated Activity and Coastal Area Management Plan, portion of property of Madison Country Club, Inc., Cherry Lane, Madison, Connecticut, by Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates, dated January 4th, 2024, with the following conditions. 1, that the zoning enforcement officer be notified at least 48 hours prior to commencement of any regulated activity. 2, that the erosion and sedimentation controls be installed prior to any site disturbance and be maintained for the duration of construction activities and until the site is sufficiently stabilized to satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer. 3, structure to be built per submitted drawings. In the event that changes to the approved plans are required as a result of other agency permitting to support the proposed activity, the Madison Planning and Zoning Commission reserves the right to review said changes and may require modification of this approval. This approval is made based upon the finding that the proposed use is a permitted use in the district and that the standards, prerequisites, and conditions specified by the regulations have been met. The commission further finds the proposal consistent with all applicable goals and policies in the Coastal Management Act and Section 25 of the Madison zoning regulations. The applicant's effort to maintain adequate soil and erosion controls during construction activities reduce potential impacts on site and adjacent coastal resources. You think it is approval is February 29th.
Hey, Aaron? If I may, since the date of that plan, there were 2 revisions made for the health department. Has nothing to do with grading, the site plan, location of anything. It just had to do with health department notes and their requirements of notes and so forth to do with the septic system. Did not change anything to do with the plan, but we revised the plan on January 23rd and February 6th. So I didn't know if that needed to be noted in this approval or not. Again, it has nothing to do with anything that you guys are approving tonight. It had to do with the health department. I just
Thank
wanted to make this clean.
Thanks, good.
Great,
And
thank you.
And we got notification that they approved it, so that's great. Okay, any further discussion?
I think,
Did we get a
I
second?
think you needed a second.
A second
Yeah.
first, sorry. Bob O'Connor, and further discussion? We covered it. All in favor?
Thank you.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
You too.
All right, moving right along. Next item on our agenda is 24-02 Surf Club Road, map 36, lot 50, zone R2. Owners of Town of Madison, applicant Westcott and Mapes Inc. Site plan review and coastal site plan review to install the athletic field lighting consisting of 6 light poles on the Nelson Little League fields. Thank you guys for waiting so long. I think we lost a couple baseball players maybe, but
They're bedtime.
do you have a presentation?
We do, so Ray.
Ray's joining. He's coming over.
Okay, great.
Sorry. Lagging behind
I
here.
can give you a little, set you up where you are.
Tell us who you are and where you live, and all that, for the record.
Right.
Austin Hall, Director of Beach and Recreation Town. So as you pull into Surf Club past the gate guard hut, there's a Little League field to your right, and then there's a Little League field set back from there as well. These are the 2 fields in discussion tonight.
Thank you.
Hi, Ray. Are you screen sharing today or would you like me to?
Whatever pleases you. I could certainly call up the plan and share my screen if that's easier.
That's fine, sure.
Certainly. Let's do that.
And Ray, could you identify yourself too, please?
Yes. Evening, my name is Raymond Payer. A professional engineer in the state of Connecticut, Vice President of Engineering at Westcott and Mapes, located at 142 Temple Street, New Haven, Connecticut. I'm the project engineer for this project before you. Working with Austin to prepare plans for approval and for construction purposes. As submitted, hopefully that you could see my screen. I'm not sure. It says Nelson Little League Fields lighting project cover sheet. Is that visible?
Yes. Yep, thanks.
Wonderful. All right. So basically, as Austin had pointed out, the location off of Surf Road, I'm sure you're familiar. Here's an aerial background along with AutoCAD line work atop of it. The 2 Nelson Field here, Nelson Field 1, the larger field, and Nelson Field 2, the smaller field, baseball fields. The project is, as Aaron had mentioned, the 6 light poles. Currently, the football field is, as you may know, is illuminated. And now that there's request desire to have the Little League ball fields illuminated for play as well. The 6 light poles, and I'll point them out. But let's start here. A1 along the outside of the fence of the third baseline of Nelson Field 1. And then A2 is over here outside of the first.
Center field.
Okay. Shall I enlarge it? Do you see my cursor or no?
We
No.
can't, yeah, your cursor's a little light.
Ah.
There, looks right.
Oh, I can't see.
I can't see it.
Perhaps. Any luck with that? No?
We can stand and point if that's helpful.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I apologize. Well, A1 on the, to the left, of third, between third base and the outfield, and A2 on the right field base.
Yeah.
Is that visible on your end?
Yep, we're showing.
Thank
A1
you.
and A2.
Yeah, and then B1 further down the third base line, of field 1, and then B2 on the first base line. B3 is the farthest one to the north, and that's for Nelson Field 2 along the first base line. And then the last light pole is C1, which is in center field of Nelson Field 1. Okay, sorry to make you jump around. Thank you for the assistance. So the poles themselves are 60 feet, and the one in the center field is 70 feet. Musco lighting, sports field lighting, they do lighting for, you know, the football field they had done, and many collegiate and recreational and sports fields throughout the state and elsewhere. We've worked with them at multiple projects in the past as well. LED lighting, pinpoint lighting, they focus each of the lights to illuminate the field appropriately for the field of play without spillage. The center C1 has lights that point in the direction of both fields, and the other poles that I mentioned have just single stanchions with heads that point just to the respective field. The illumination is in your CAM package. The other component of the project is to run power to these poles, and that's denoted by the line with the E in it. And we're running underground conduit from the electrical utility building, which is in the lower left-hand corner of the plan before you, over near the basketball courts. You'll see utility building. It's a rectangular box symbol. And then from that comes out the E, which is the underground conduits, and it traverses the grounds to each of the pole locations, as you see on the plan before you.
This is all single phase 120 VAC.
It's 3-phase 480 volt. Yeah, that's what's available, and that's what the next drawing is all of the erosion sedimentation control measures, silt fence and hay bales and so forth. There's not going to be significant disturbance. Obviously, the 2-inch conduit is only down a couple feet, but you know there'll be measures to contain soils, and then the augured holes for the light pole bases will go down 13, 14 feet in that range, and each of those locations we've got more substantial erosion control measures, silt fence and so forth, and containment areas to contain the soil so as to not have any environmental impact. And then upon completion, working with Austin's forces will reestablish the lawn, the grass areas of the disturbance. And that's basically the project. More than happy to answer questions that you may have.
I got a dumb one. So I'm assuming that you've got poles tall enough, downward facing enough, such that you won't cause blindness to the others in the other field versus one field playing at the same time.
Correct. Well, I defer to Musco, but they've got a very robust lighting plan where they
with their technology and the LEDs, they actually like laser point each of the heads to properly illuminate. So that has been taken into account.
So they're more of spotlights than they are of floods, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, they're exactly, they aim them. They actually physically go out and aim each of the heads and yes.
The question is for Austin. So how late would these be left on, or how does the timing work?
So the lights on Strong Field from, say, April to November are on till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I don't see that being the case with these fields. These are little league, so kids up to age 12. They're not going to be out at 11 o'clock having games at that time. So once the final game or practice is over, the lights will be shut on that field.
Great. And are you hoping to get this installed by opening day?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Any other questions or comments, commissioners?
Again, it's coastal site plan. Ray kind of went over the ENS controls. That was really the main concern, is for temporary disturbance during construction, mainly to the tidal wetlands adjacent on that east side. It kind of drops off the bank on outside of the outfield there. Of Nelson, that's Nelson 1.
Yes.
That's the one, right?
The big one.
So,
Yeah, and so there won't be access that way for machinery. It's all coming in off of the emergency access behind Strong Field.
Up and over.
And Ray, maybe you can just kind of detail the, drilling down for the basically foundations for these lights. You're going down about 13 feet, anticipating you're going to have to dewater as part of that process. And so all of that has been centrally located and shown on the plans to fall between Strong and Nelson Field, to keep that as far away as possible from the tidal wetlands, as well as all the drainage structures within that sports campus will be protected as well. The only other comment from the state, aside from ENS controls, was that this is located in a flood zone, and that clearly, as part of their permitting process, comply with FEMA standards.
Get it done before hurricane season.
Well, why did the plans indicate the removal of some trees? So there will be no trees.
Oh, yeah, that's changed.
If I may comment to that, Ray Payer, once again, and that was on my part, being an engineer and overly conservative, concerned with equipment and the need to excavate. But talking with Austin, that is not the case. I've actually revised the plans. No trees will be removed or disturbed. There'll be either hand dig or small equipment to traverse the area past the trees and the roots, and save the trees. So that's all the reference to tree and stumping has been removed from the plans, the current plans that I have. That was brought to my attention. So we will not. There's no need, nor will we have that occur on the project.
Good. Thanks for raising that, John. Any other questions? Could we have a motion
I'll provide the motion.
as drafted? Want to go ahead and read? There's a draft resolution for both. This is for the
The Madison Planning and Zoning Commission approves application 24-02 Surf Club Road, map 36, lot 50, zone R2, owner Town of Madison, applicant Westcott Makes Incorporated. Site plan review and coastal site plan review to install athletic field lighting consisting of 6 light poles on the Nelson League Field. As shown on plan, Nelson League Fields Lighting Project 87 Surf Club Road, Madison, Connecticut by Westcott and Mapes. Incorporated, dated January 8th, 2024, sheets SP-1-ES-1, 4 sheets total, with the following conditions. 1, the zoning enforcement officer be notified at least 48 hours prior to commencement of any regulated activity. 2, that all erosion and sedimentation controls be installed prior to any site disturbance and be maintained for the duration of construction activities and until the site is sufficiently stabilized to satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer. 3, that all construction shall comply with FEMA standards, as we mentioned before. 4, prior to any site activity, the applicant shall submit revised plans eliminating, well, that's eliminating tree removal, no, it's correct. In the event that changes to the approved plans are required as a result of other agency permitting to support the proposed activity, the Madison Planning and Zoning Commission reserves the right to review said changes and may require modification of this approval. This approval is made based upon the finding that the proposed use is a permitted use in the district and that the standards, prerequisites, and conditions specified by the regulations have been met. The commission further finds that the proposal consistent with all applicable goals and policies in the Coastal Management Act and Section 25 of the Madison zoning regulations. The applicant's effort to maintain adequate soil and erosion controls during construction activities reduces potential impacts to on-site and adjacent coastal resources. Effective date of this approval is February 29, 2024.
Second? Andy, further discussion? Janet, you with us? All
You're
in
muted.
favor?
All right, I'm with you and all good.
So all in favor?
Raise your hand, Janet. There you go.
I think it's unanimously approved.
Yeah.
Great, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Two more fields.
All right.
I think you're gonna have an empty audience now. Thank you.
Okay, so
Take care. Thank you.
the other member relations and receipts need to be scheduled for future meetings. Erin, we get,
So, yeah, just one update, Garnet Park. We did receive an extension to allow the applicant to go through the COP process with the state. And so that extension is uploaded into the file documents. The recommendation would be to table that to the April 18th meeting.
Okay.
motion to table. It's by, Doug, second,
Second.
any discussion? On favor, April 18th.
Great.
Approved, okay, and 24-0437 Kent Road.
Excuse me, this is a coastal site plan application as well, was referred to DEEP, to allow, in an effort to allow their 35-day referral process. Staff recommends tabling this to the March 21st.
Okay, motion to table to March 21st.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hunter, and second. Discussion. All in favor?
All in favor.
March 21st, we're running up that meeting, but that's okay. 23-4731 Stony Lane, they've requested a 90-day extension to file their Mylar.
Yes, so with any subdivision, the signed record subdivision map needs to be filed on the land records within 90 days. Statutes allow for up to 2 90-day extensions of that time clock. The applicant is seeking their first extension to
This is the
file
first
that.
one. Okay, good.
I did give
So there's a draft resolution.
a draft resolution for that as well. I can screen share that if that helps.
All right.
Andy's making a motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
The subdivision was approved on November 16th, 2024. The applicant is requesting a 90-day extension to file a record subdivision map on the land records. The following draft resolution is offered. Voted that the Madison Planning and Zoning Commission approve a 90-day extension to file the signed recorded subdivision Mylar on Madison land records for application number 23-47, 31 Stony Lane, map 36, lot 25-2, zone R1, owner Barberry 12 LLC, applicant Thomas A. Stevens and Associates Inc., sublot division within open space conservation district.
6 lot division.
Oh,
Okay.
6 sublot.
Okay, great. So motion and second, please.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? is approved. Always happy to play. 24-05 plus a coastal site plan, 64 Surf Club Road, map 36, lot 50 zone. Oh, this would be R2, Erin. Not RU2.
Oh, that's an old, that's been
Has
updated.
been updated. Okay, great. Town of Madison site plan modification application and coastal site plan application for reconstruction of the natural turf youth football field area of the exchange field complex. Need a motion to table that to March 21st.
So
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Table to March 21st. 24-06, 1339 and 1341 Boston Post Road, map 31, lots 34 and 34-01, zone C. Owner HPS Associates, 1339 Boston Post Road LLC, 1341 Boston Post Road LLC, and 1343 Boston Post Road LLC. Applicant 1339 and 1341 Boston Post Road LLC. Special exception permit for section 6.1.2.2 and 6.15.2 and coastal site plan application to construct 2 3-story mixed-use buildings with commercial uses on the first floor and 12 residential units on the upper floors, 24 units total, and associated site improvements. We haven't seen that yet.
No. That's a big one.
That's
Schedule a public hearing for March 21st, 2024. Schedule.
I'll point motion.
And a second? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Okay.
That's a public hearing. Okay, 24-07, 63 Middle Beach Road West, map 15, lot 24, zone R4. Owner Earl Tucker III, Family Trust LLC, applicant Ronald Wasmer. Coastal site plan application to permit construction of terraces and retaining walls within 25 feet of a coastal resource. That is being tabled to March 21st, 2024. Motion? Andy, second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just Aaron, I couldn't pull that information up on the agenda. It was.
It's linked now. I saw that.
Okay,
It's all correct. Yes. It's
So
a
what
live
happened?
link now. I'm not sure what happened to
It was like,
that.
it was like it was a separate login. I tried it.
Yeah.
I know, and when I went into the document center, all the documents were uploaded and said they were published, so it must have been something with the link, but I
Yeah, okay,
reconnected
cool.
it.
Thank you.
Glitch. Okay. Great. Do we go to that?
We did.
Okay. So Erin, do you want to talk about the regulation amendment for childcare homes?
Sure. I did send you a staff memo with some draft language. This is fairly simple, actually. The statutes changed. The statutes previously required that the zoning regulations cannot treat a family childcare home any differently than a single family or a private home, a single family dwelling. And our regulations were consistent with that statute. However, the regulation, the statute changed associated with Public Act 23-142 and caught a lot of municipalities off guard when the CEOs of the municipalities received notice from Office of Policy and Management in November asking for the CEOs to certify that the local zoning regulations or ordinances are in compliance with the Public Act, treating not just family childcare homes, but also group childcare homes no differently than a single family dwelling. And so when we went through our certification process with OPM, you know, I did a search of our zoning code and it doesn't quite say that. So we did, and I gave you a copy of the certification that First Selectwoman Lyons submitted to OPM, indicating that we would be updating our regulations to be in compliance. Our fix is quite simple, actually. It specifically references section 3.3, which is our residential zone. And it's 3.3B. The language would read, the following accessory uses when carried on by a resident of the premises are permitted uses with a zoning permit. And letter B is family or group child care home that complies with the standards set forth by the Connecticut Office of Early Childhood. So that would encompass both of those uses. And then further in section 19, which is our definitions section, of daycare center. There was reference excluding the family family daycare homes from that. But I just cleaned that language up to include group and to match the terminology
So you're consistent.
in the statute. So those are the two sections. The only other residential section that this would apply to is the rural residential section. But in their permitted uses, it just bumps you back to section 3 of the residential zone. So there's no actual changes needed in the rural district. The section 3 would be sufficient. So the next process would be, if you're comfortable with this fix, we'll begin the referral process and post it in the town clerk's office, send it to our regional council of government for the regional planning commission to take a look at. We'll refer it to our neighboring towns and schedule for a public hearing in March, if that works.
Great. So the regional meeting is the 14th of March. And by the way, other municipalities are having to do the exact same thing. So I've seen other towns do this too, the regional meeting. So,
and lucky for our town, our CEO sent me the letter. There are some communities that I've heard through the state that have heard this from either the Planning Association or Connecticut Association of Zoning Officers. And some folks said, I never even knew about that from our CEO. So we're at least on top of it at this point.
we're doing fine. Okay, so we need to schedule a public hearing for it though, Erin?
Yes, it's a regulation amendment,
Right.
so it
As
does
a
require a
regulation.
public hearing. Mhm.
Text amendment for March 21st, 2024. Can I have a motion? Thank you. Second.
Whatever you like.
Whichever.
And any further discussion? John Dusa, did you have any questions about it?
No.
Okay, great. Janet, are we good? All in favor? March 21st. All right, approval of minutes, Secretary Duza.
Sure, February 1st, Planning and Zoning Commission, regular meeting members present, Reinhardt, Duza, O'Connor, Morgan. Motion to approve. Well, second.
Second.
John, any comments or discussion? All look good to me. Vote to approve. Gentlemen, thank you.
I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't there.
Got it. Okay, Tuesday, February 6th, special meeting, members present, Reinhardt, O'Connor, Snow, Bugler, Rubin, Peckinpah, and Morgan. A motion to approve. Michael, a second. Bob, any comments or discussions? Looked like a very productive and efficient meeting. Vote to approve. Okay, everybody, but me. I was not there. Okay,
Great, thank you. Remarks, I just wanted to mention something really quickly that I heard on NPR last night on Marketplace. There was a piece about zoning, and Sarah Bronin talked about the National Zoning Atlas. Erin, you probably know about this. And she used Connecticut as an example. So she just mentioned that this is about housing and zoning, and we have about 3 million people in our state, 183 zoning jurisdictions, 91% are single family housing.
Wow.
2% is multifamily, so I just thought that was interesting. And that's sort of a segue to say, we should attend the February 29th housing session.
Is that in this room or?
It's going to be right across the hall
Oh,
in the
across the hall.
Hammonasset room
Great.
and via Zoom.
Okay.
So the Affordable Housing Committee, again, is welcoming members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Board of Selectmen, and just the public in general to have a meeting to talk about housing, to introduce themselves, the Affordable Housing Plan, some of the things that they've been up to over the last year, and how they hope to collaborate with other leaders.
Very good.
Great, such as yourselves. And I had one other update. We received word yesterday that Judge O'Hanlon has dismissed the appeal that was filed from Mr. Marzatelli against the Planning and Zoning Commission with respect to 35 Cottage Road.
Very good.
And so
Some
your
good
approval
news.
stands.
We're done. We are done.
Some good news.
You are done.
Yes.
What's happening?
So both appeals the inland wetlands appeal from the interveners, I believe, or the adjacent property owners, that was also dismissed. So the Judge O'Hanlon upheld both the inland wetlands and the planning and zoning commission's decisions.
And is the property for sale?
The
Am I thinking
35
of-
Cottage Road is not for sale.
Okay, sorry, I was thinking of Scotland. Yeah,
No.
got it. Thank you.
And Scotland Road was withdrawn. That appeal was withdrawn.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah. So that means your approval stands.
And regarding cottage, is that why there's been no activity there yet?
Yes,
I see.
it's been in litigation.
That's interesting. Okay, good. Yay.
Yes, we're making progress. Look at that.
Any other comments, remarks?
No, ma'am.
Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Adjourned at 8:37.
Thanks, Janet. Thanks, Raquel. Bye-bye.